I muted myself there for a second. Hey, here we go. Late
He's just
night.
firing right in there.
There he is. Late night with the baseball guys. Oh man,
Yeah, we had a bit of a pitch clock violation there, but we're still playing. We're good.
we're still in it. We're still in it. I know that first couple times were tough, but here we are, man, pushing through. We're gonna get through it, and we're
Yeah.
gonna get you know. So I it's I'm a little I've got mixed feelings about it, but overall I came away feeling good about this weekend. Um, Frustrated but good. Um, I think that if you would have told me that we were in a 4-0 hole on Sunday after those two games of hard fought baseball, man, great pitching on our end, as at least from our starters. I think our
Yeah.
starters were unbelievable. Some of our bullpen had its issues, but was able to kind of hold it down for the to a certain degree. I know there's some things we're gonna have to work out there in the bullpen, but if you would have told me that, I would have said, all right, we're gonna get swept. I mean, this is a tough, resilient team. They came back and I mean, the bats finally woke up in that third game. We were able to string together some base hits, some home run here or there. Some productive stuff, some productive outs, right? But I do want to talk about the lineup a little bit as we move on. But overall, my thoughts were, yeah. I mean, I'm okay with it. I think that we did exactly what I thought maybe we were gonna do anyway. So, what are your thoughts, Vish?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I wanted to win the series. Obviously, we all did. So,
Sure.
coming up short of that's not great. But as you said, when it was 4-0 early in the third game instead of sweep in the face, it does feel a lot better to come out there with a comfortable win
Yeah.
in that game. And over the course of the weekend, the pitching was really strong, and the hitting, as you said, kind of didn't show up until really kind of the middle of the third game. So it's a little concerning, but Florida can obviously pitch. They're one of the best teams in the country. So you go on the road, you at least get a game out of there. And I think probably the positive signs, it's disappointing that it was only one game because you felt like you were in all those games. Because last year it was same deal. Florida took 2 out of 3. Of course, that was in Miami, but I mean those
Still
games
different
weren't.
though, right?
Yeah, but those games weren't competitive.
Right, right.
Right. I mean, the Canes won the Saturday game last year by belting a bunch of home runs, and then immediately got killed in the next game. So this is a different feel to it. And so I think that's a positive sign. And just for context, last year one of those early season games the Canes had got canceled, but after the Florida series, they were 6-5. They're 9-3 this year. So it's a big difference. And 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 it's a learning experience though too, right? Like they got to build off of this, and I think that's the really important part, Johnson. There were opportunities there that as this team gets more mature as the season goes on, hopefully they don't make those mistakes. But the fact that if Florida is as good as their ranking, the Canes acquitted themselves really well, and it's a good sign as but the ACC is brutal, so it's not
Right.
going to be easy to go on the road and win series in the ACC either. But it does show that they're certainly. I mean, last year was a disaster, but it certainly looks like the team is much better equipped to kind of deal with some of that stuff.
Yep. I agree. I think that it showed I know it's cliche to say their mental toughness. Going down 2 games to nothing against a team like that. And you mentioned it, right? If they're as good as their record says they are, then that's a pretty damn good team over there. But it's also a pretty solid team that we have on our side. I think that it just goes to show that here's what I like about playing them early. First of all, it's a barometer, right? Where are we right now? Where do we need to go? Does it look like we can get better? Does it look like we can grow from this? Or are we just completely terrible? Like, do we suck? Right? Like, are we done? I think there's a couple of things. Number one, I think our starting pitching needs to stay healthy. but I think we are at the very least 4 or 5 deep when it comes to being able to put guys out there that can get us some really solid innings. First of all, Nick Robert was amazing on Friday. I think he did a hell of a job for those 5, 6 innings that he threw. Same thing with Griffin Hughes. Okay, was what do you have? 10 Ks? I think he had 10 Ks, right?
Yeah, I think maybe even more.
Saturday?
I'll pull it
Five,
up. But
5 innings. Was working the plate really well. I know B Wall got into some trouble. He got knocked around a little bit early. But he still settled in and had a decent outing for a little bit until they went to the bullpen. And Carson Fisher had like 2 1/3 really strong innings, and then he kind of fell apart a little bit towards the end of his outing, giving up a couple hits and a couple runs. But Carson Fisher, great job out of the bullpen, right? And then you got some guys back. Will Smith shut it down, which he looked really good. On the back end. So you've got some guys that are developing, some other guys that need to kind of go back to a drawing board a little bit in the bullpen. But you're seeing that the guys that are being productive out of the bullpen are kind of the older guys, the Fishers and Will Smith. I know Tate DeRias had a decent outing. Robbie Evans, looked okay as well. But some of the younger guys still got some work to do. Lachi did okay. I mean, look, it's the Florida Gators, man. You're going to give them some hits. You're going to give them some runs to those guys. It was a solid job by the pitching staff.
Yeah, and I think the runs that they got were largely home runs. It's just some of that is just could be mislead, especially early in the season. Guy throws a bad pitch against Florida, like you said, they punish you for that stuff. It's one bad pitch ends up kind of ruining your outing if you're coming in the pen to pitch like an inning or two. So I overall think I do think there's not an okay, so this might be more of an indictment of last year's team than anything, but there's not an arm that he's gone from like, oh no, don't put that guy in.
Yeah. Oh, guy that I forgot to mention that might be the best arm.
It's pretty regular. That's Jazz Nice sat in the light fuming. I can't believe he's putting that guy. Like, there's none of that this year, so it's definitely a big
not yet. Not yet, at least.
No, but I would say even the guys that are getting hit, it does tend to be like they tend to be hitting the zone. They have good stuff. It's just that guy, you missed the spot and it's Florida. They're gonna punish you for that.
Right.
Versus like last year, a guy who would come in like walk 4 guys in a row and then hit a guy and you're like, what the hell?
No, you're absolutely right.
The Cookman game comes to mind that I for some reason decided to go to on a Wednesday last year, and they scored, I think, 6 runs in an inning with 1 hit and 5 walks and 2 errors. And I was just like, you're not seeing that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, like, for instance, the one guy that I didn't even mention that I think is probably the best guy out of the bullpen right now is a young kid, right? AJ Siskar. AJ Siskar, his looked really good against the Gators for the most part. So,
yeah, I mean, he gave up a run on Saturday. But again, with the the bullpens is very much feast or famine, right? It's you give up 1 run, your ERA balloons because you're not pitching that many innings.
Right, it's tough
to normalize. It normalizes over the season, but
sure.
And again, against a team like Florida and the wind was blowing out most of the weekend, you missed your spots going over the wall.
You also didn't have a Reese Lumpkin. I know he threw against Florida Gulf Coast.
I think he's the midweek guy locked in there. I think we're gonna obviously
in a big series. He probably can't be used out of the bullpen. So if he doesn't throw that midweek, or if he throws very little pitches,
I think that's that's as you get deeper in the season, you start to say, okay, we want our midweek guy to make come out of the pen some, but the Canes do have at least very early, but you appear to have 5 pitchers. So, they can play around with that a little bit because Giroux looked really good too. I don't know who's going tomorrow and who's going Wednesday. With 2
probably going to be Giroux tomorrow.
Yeah, they're both definitely going to throw. So this week, but as you get later in the season, you don't have 2 midweek games, so they can manage that a little bit differently, and maybe even give them both a few innings and still have them available on the weekend, so you have both those arms coming in. So.
Aside from that, so let me tell me what your thoughts are on on our bats, right? Because first of all, not from a lineup perspective, but just from an overall approach perspective. What I did notice is that, at least in my eyes, right, they tend to lose a little bit of their edge, a little bit of confidence when they struggle a little bit, right? And it's hard. Like baseball is tough, man, and you could fail 7 out of 10 times and be elite. So with that being said, if you're constantly getting out, like if you're grounding out, you can't hit the ball right, you're striking out, you can't put it together, you can't find it. You're struggling a little bit. You have a tendency to put your head down and be like, shit, man, like I can't, I got to put it together, man. I got to get this, going. Um, my thought process is they need to have a little more mental toughness when it comes to plate approach, especially when they're struggling, right? Anybody can be happy and the chemistry can be great when you're scoring 13, 14 runs. That's easy. The hard part is scoring the 4 or 5 or 6 runs when you've gone over up until like the 7th or 8th inning and you've only gotten a couple hits, right? That's the tough part. And I think that's where the Canes hitting needs to be a little more mentally tough. But I will tell you this, right? And Poke, actually, shout out to Poke, but he sent me a message about it in the midweek game. But Fabio Peralta is a name you're gonna have to watch out for to start playing a little bit more. It looks like he's swinging the bat a little bit better than Mikey Torres. I know Mikey Torres got on base a little bit, but Peralta's the guy that I might want to see in that lineup a little bit more. And you might have to mix in some other stuff as well. But what are your thoughts on the lineup so far, just from a whole?
Yeah, it's one bat short, right? I think kind of you mentioned Mikey Torres, Peralta. It's like that there's one batter short of being a complete lineup.
Right.
So it's hard to not really a good option there to put in. So they've tried Peralta. They started him in the midweek. He struggled. Torres is a better defender, so I think he's the default, unless someone can prove that they, that they should take that spot. Maybe, I'm assuming Peralta will get a lot of at bats in the midweek this week. So it's see if I think if he hits, he'll keep that spot is open. Someone can grab it. Like,
I don't think it's set in stone that Mikey Torres is your leadoff guy or your 9-hole guy.
Well, they moved it back and forth. It's kind of weird that it's been either or there, right? Even over the course of the weekend, like it's a pretty big difference between leading off and batting ninth. It's not like moving to 8th or moving down the line. Nope, it's either you're batting first or you're batting last.
I'm not saying look, he's a guy that could get better a little bit. I know his on base percentage is getting there, and he's figuring it out a little bit as far as plate discipline and what to swing at and what not to swing at. So right now they're kind of the same player. That's why I can kind of see Peralta.
Yeah. I mean, Torres drew some, like you said, walks, was able to get on base on Sunday. But he's not really getting hits, and that's the name of the game.
What is Florida has 2 midweek games?
He's saying that Peralta's hits against Florida were not really meaningful because it was against their back end of their bullpen because they were conserving them for their midweek. It's CCH.
Yeah, you know what though? I'll tell you what. He does have a point sometimes with a couple of things and how they're pulling guys. They're pulling.
Well, this one.
Yeah.
This one upset me because this is a throwback to last year. Just got to go righty lefty, and it's like, no, do not take out the better hitter just to get a lefty righty matchup and hit into a double play. We got to run out of it because the bases were loaded, and there were no outs. I think it was Renzo. I think hit into a double play, and you want Williams bat there, like his bases loaded. You want Williams up.
Yeah.
I don't care if the pitcher's right-handed or left-handed. You want Williams up, and they pulled him to put Renzo in. Renzo hit no double play that again scored a run because they were loaded with no outs. But
right,
at that point already had 6 runs and could have really. I mean, eventually, obviously, the Canes kept scoring, so they put the game away. But that that, that's a situation where sometimes you're not going to get the opportunity to score again. That is your best chance to score for the rest of the game, and you got to maximize it. Didn't do that. I just don't, on just generally speaking, don't like when they pinch hit just to get a righty lefty matchup when there's a quality gap that big between. And it's not to say Redzo's bad, but as CCH is saying, Derek Williams is really coming along, and frankly, you're happy when the bases are loaded.
Williams too is that he hits the ball like he makes solid contact, right? Like,
right.
Those balls are going to start dropping. They're going to start finding holes. You're going to start being able to do more with that. I'm totally in on Derek Williams getting more opportunities.
Yeah, to me, there's 8 guys, that you kind of just should leave in.
Yeah, you kind of although I gotta give it to him, right? What a hell of a play he made at left field. So as a defensive substitution, I'm okay with it because he's really good out there. But the Gabby Gutierrez pinch hitting experiment, the experience has gotta come to an end at some point, right?
I mean, look, unfortunately they're not. There's a drop off, right? Because you've got. I mean, again, I feel like 8 of the 9 spots are pretty locked in, but it's not. It's not. Gabby's not really doing anything, but I don't really see anyone else.
Kulikowski's not doing much either.
Yeah, he's struggling too.
The only one that's coming in and at least getting some stuff done, maybe getting on base, is, like I said, Peralta, right? Or I mean, look, Puig and Tavares are getting.
Yeah, even Puig, but again, CCH made a good point. Like when you're coming in late innings against like the back of a team's bullpen, it's much easier. So
yeah, it's true.
I mean,
yes, I do agree with him. He pulls the pitchers a little too late sometimes too. And I noticed the difference between, and I hate to say this, but the difference between Sully and the way that he approaches his pitching staff and the way that we approach ours, and how he likes to get relievers to start off innings fresh as opposed to come in sometimes if he can. But he also has a tendency of leaving the guy in maybe a little bit too long. Like if you see there's an issue, dude, go get him and put someone in who's a little bit different. Throw the hitters off a little bit, right? I think he's got to do a better job of that as well. I do agree with that. Look at what Poke says. Oh man,
it should never come out. Yeah, I mean, I'm good for him.
I don't blame you, man.
27 outs a weekend. I'm good with that. CCH is, as usual, his level-head self.
Yeah, right. Yeah, unbelievable.
I mean, again, I think there is a spot in the lineup that is there for the taking, and frankly, no one's really stepped up and seized. I mean, Kulikowski's batting 125, so I don't really think he's played his way into like getting. I mean, maybe some of these guys will start because there's 2 midweek games, so if you're gonna get some guys some more.
I think T-Hud needs to start getting going a little bit also, swinging the stick a little bit better. But he had some good at bats this weekend. So I'm not gonna rain on his parade a little bit too much. But I think that look, everybody needs to kind of get it going, right? It's not just one guy or the next. But then again, you face the number 8 team in the country. I think they're number number 6. They moved up a little bit. So, I think that we're okay. As I mentioned earlier,
you just dismissed Peralta for getting hits late in games, but then Kulikowski getting out but making contact is a good thing. Come on, guy. Get it together. That doesn't make sense.
Look, I think that.
I guess the one thing, Jazz, we should talk about, like Cuvée came out of that game on Sunday. It's the second time he's I mean, hopefully he's not injured again. They pulled him really. I'm assuming it was some kind of health related. I didn't see anything, and we didn't get anything out of the school in terms of a press release, but they pulled him really early. I'm like, this game is not over yet. When they pulled him out, it was after he had run the bases and scored, so I'm assuming something happened.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know, because defensive substitutions, no. I mean, I know Puig's a third baseman, but I don't think that's why. Although he did make a nice play late in that
Well, I
game.
think it was so. I'll look real quick and figure out which inning it was in, but it was
It was
very
like
early. It
7.
was
It
it
was
was
6.
way before you would normally do it.
Um, and yeah, look, I know he just mentioned it. I know CCH mentioned it as well about the home runs. Not that he's worried about it because I know I'm not worried about it. I know I told you, Vish, that I don't think we're going to hit a lot of home runs this season, anyways. I think we're going to be a decent hitting team. I thought we were going to be a good hitting team, but I don't think we're going to hit a ton of home runs. But I think you'll start seeing the home run numbers tick up a little bit soon. But again, I don't expect us to hit a ton either way. So yeah, we're not Tennessee. We're not going to hit 31 bombs. Um, we hit a lot more last year, but the numbers are there for us to hit them. Like Hudson had 14 last year. Derek Williams had 15. Obviously Cuvée with 24. So the numbers are kind of there. But I think that the most impressive guy right now that in this lineup that I think he's really uh, stepped it up a lot and proved that he's a dangerous guy, man, is Jake Ogden. Uh, Big shout out to
Yeah,
Ogden on the way he's swinging it. Right, talk about a guy with confidence at the plate, no matter who's pitching to him. I think that he protects the plate really well. He drives the ball when he hits it, and he's got a little pop. So I'm really happy to see his development and his play. Things looking really good, man.
yeah, he is. He is. He's been really good, and yeah, he's also been made some nice plays in the field. So it's not he's good. He's been good there as well. So just good, really good all around players. CCH mentioned this somewhere up, and I mean, he's he's not spamming the comments, but causing it to scroll much more quickly than we're used to on this show. So
Yeah,
somewhere up
by the
top,
way, he did look good. He looked good at
yeah,
short.
yeah, but somewhere up top, he mentioned just like the team looks a lot different, quality of at bats, and Ogden's kind of epitomizes that the way that it's always a good at bat with him.
John
But
Enriquez mentioned something about
yeah,
that's interesting. I mean,
I would look more at Mikey Torres and maybe
yeah,
giving
sure.
Peralta a start in that spot in the midweek and see. We have two midweek games, obviously, but give him a start maybe tomorrow. See what he does if he plays well, and maybe keep it going there.
Yep. Yep. I'm very happy with the play right now. Even defensively, they look pretty solid as well. They look like they're able to defend back there
Yeah,
behind
and
that. So,
6 games over 500 again last year. They were 1 game over 500 at this point. So,
right.
the team is playing a lot better.
It is. It's a different feel, right? It's a different
Yeah,
feel.
no, you can tell when you're. I mean, we've both been out there multiple times. I
Yeah.
think CCH like lives in the ballpark, but um, yeah, no, the vibes around the team are just a lot more positive. And yeah, no, it's showing up on the field. It's definitely showing up on the field.
I agree. I agree. Um, what was he talking about? Oh, he's talking about Patelli. Well,
Right.
but Patelli feels like a lifetime ago, especially when you had what you had last year. I think that's what he's trying to say.
I mean, last year was
Calm,
painful.
calm down, bro. Relax.
Yeah, but I would definitely, the midweek is the time you can kind of play around with the labs. As we said, there's kind of one bat we could certainly use an upgrade on. So
Right.
whether it's that player hitting better or someone else stepping up and
Speaking
being
of good, speaking of good players, uh, Tanner Smith is still doing his thing at the plate, man. Even this weekend, obviously bats all the bats got slowed down by the Gator pitching, but
yeah.
he was still, making some solid contact, had a few base hits. Another guy that is really starting to impress me. I think it's something that's going to stick around. Hopefully, it sticks around. And he's moved up in the lineup a little bit. I think he's batting 6 now, so which is a nice little spot for him. Still gets some pitches to hit. So I like what Tanner Smith is doing.
Yeah, no, again, wait. CCH is watching a different sport than us. No, he's doing really well at the plate, especially in comparison to what he was, supposed to be more of a defensive catcher. He's
Right.
batting 343, and has 9 RBI. So I don't his OVP is 425. I don't know what CCH has been watching.
Yeah. Well,
So anyway, congratulations, CCH. I don't know, good drugs you got there, but 4 times that was 3 straight swimmers in the dirt. Okay, congratulations. He's hitting he's hitting well over 300, which is a good thing. Is there a live feed? Let me check real quick. Because it is so for everyone's awareness, the game tomorrow is at Marlins Park. It's Lone Depot Park is the technical name.
Yeah.
Marlins Park, but it's technically an FIU home game, so it won't be on ACC Network like most of our games are. So looking right now, I don't know. There's nothing on the UM website. Jazz, I'm venturing into enemy territory and checking out the FIU website.
No.
Yeah, do it. They should know if their games are on.
I'm not seeing
Our
anything.
school did not have a link. Let me see what we got here. Oh man, there might not be. There's nothing listed here either.
Oh, hold on a second. Maybe.
You found it?
Let's see.
All it does listen, live stats, and tickets and history on their website.
Oh yeah, no. Based off of what they send us, the email. Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, and CCH is saying radio only, no live feed. You can head out. You can head out to Lone Depot Park though and actually watch the game. So
Yeah, that's gonna cost you.
that's an option for locals.
What is it? $10 to go out there? It's FIU's home game, so.
It is. I think it's more expensive than that. They're
Probably.
I'll give a quick check. I think I looked earlier, and let's see. Buy now.
It's good. It's good radio right here, guys.
Look, we are men of the people.
$30.
$28.40.
Yep, that's it. And then $20.
That is a bit of an expensive.
Yeah.
CCH is correct for a midweek college baseball game. That was pretty pricey there.
That is a little pricey.
Yeah, no, CCH is a family of 4. You're spending $30 per ticket and then $20 to park. You're gonna drop $1.50.
Yes.
On the Miami FIU midweek game. That's yeah, the Marlins stay being the Marlins. Yeah, no, this is crazy. Obviously, they're set up to broadcast a game like they should. It's a pros stadium, so
yeah,
kind of very disappointing. Yeah, and the food, of course. Yeah, that is, but it'll be for both teams. For these kids, it'll be a great experience to play in an MLB ballpark. So I'm sure they'll very much appreciate that. Yeah, it might not be as good a fan experience as you get at the Light or on FIU Stadium at campus. So it'll be fun. But yeah.
Worst comes to worst, we'll see you guys at the Light.
The Light on. So just over to as we kind of wrap up a little bit here and look ahead. So the Canes have 6 more games before ACC play kicks off, and kind of want to go 6-0 there and run this thing to 15 and. Run this thing to 15 and 3 heading into ACC play. So FIU we just talked about. It's a technically a road game, but it's at Lone Depot Park. That's tomorrow. Wednesday, host with Villanova at the Light, and then weekend is a 3-game set against UConn. CCH points out struggling. UConn's actually usually a pretty solid baseball program. They have been for years. They're really struggling this year. They're 1-8. So. You'd like to get those 5 games this week, and then next week the midweek is at UCF, so you gotta go up to Orlando and play that, and that's before heading to Winston-Salem to play at Wake Forest when all of a sudden it gets really serious. So it's gonna be these next, but this is where you can really build your record out, right? They're 9-3, every opportunity to run that to 15-3. Heading out to Winston-Salem. If you can do that, you're kind of sitting in really good shape for the more challenging games to come here.
ACC is no joke, so you've got some. You might as well get these in now. Win some good ball games and go into ACC play with some confidence and win some of those games as well. So
yeah, I mean the first 3 ACC series are at Wake, who's really good, hosting Florida State, who's really good, and then at North Carolina, who's obviously also really good. So that's not
Not a
It's
walk in the park, that's for sure.
not an easy start to the schedule.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see. UCF is the midweek next week as a trip to Orlando.
Oh, well, it's probably in the middle of the week. You probably got practice or something. I get it. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
no, it's also. I mean, it's yeah,
Okay, it's 45 minutes. What are you talking about?
45
Man
minutes.
up, poke, and get out there. Jesus. My goodness. What are you going to do with you, man? No, it's okay.
It's
I
a
can't.
lot to travel to go to a midweek college
No,
baseball game.
that's true. All right, everybody. So far, happy with what's going on. Got to win these midweek games and then get into this weekend and win this weekend series as well, and go into ACC play, firing on all cylinders as much as possible, and make sure you get the bullpen, build some confidence there again, and some of the extra bats that we need as well. So aside from that,
Yeah, these midweek games, they're a chance to kind of put a solid foundation on your record and kind of set yourself up to build your resume by winning ACC games. It's also a great way to destroy your resume if you start doing them. So,
and listen, some of these midweek teams are tough. Like
oh yeah,
FAU is a tough ball club always. FIU, believe it or not, has been very competitive in years. So I don't know how good they are this year. They might suck this year, but
no, I mean it's Florida. Everyone, especially in South Florida,
Florida
but
team,
everyone
yeah.
in Florida.
UCF is going to be another tough one.
Yeah,
So
no, everyone in Florida plays baseball growing up, and so there's just a lot of talent around. And when they don't go to Miami, Florida, and Florida State, they still go to these other schools and show some really good players. So
yep.
these midweek games against I mean, if you lose the Villanova game, I have a lot of questions. But these midweek games against FIU, FAU, FGCU last week, fortunately the Canes handled. Those are not easy.
No,
Those
they're
are
not.
teams that can beat you. So yeah, same with UCF.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, that ranking, the rank 30th rankings. Look, I love to say that rankings don't matter, but at the end of the day, at 9-3, we gotta start showing a little more. I mean, look, go 5-0 this weekend, and guarantee you're gonna make some noise in the rankings. But um, I don't know I don't know how the rankings work in baseball anymore.
I mean, it's also so it's so early in the season. So
Yeah, I know. But
I mean, since we lost to FAU, it's probably just that. That's probably the whole lot of it.
yes,
John, it'll be Lumpkin and Giroux. It won't be Fisher.
Giroux and Lumpkin probably, but yeah.
Yeah, probably Giroux first, then Lumpkin. But those are your two midweek guys.
Matter
And
of
the
fact, I'm
Canes
pretty sure
actually have,
Giroux.
have five options.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Giroux's already been kind of like he's the guy tomorrow for sure. I'm
Okay.
almost 100% sure. So I hope FAU beats the Gators tomorrow. That'll be nice. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, if we don't see you tomorrow at the game, we will see you at the light this weekend at some
Yep.
point.
Yeah, we'll
Wednesday,
either
Friday,
see
Saturday, Sunday.
yeah, we'll see you at Loon Depot Park tomorrow, or the light Wednesday, or the light over the weekend.
That's right. And me and Bish might play switcheroo as well. So we'll see. Or be there at the same
It
time.
feels like we
Yeah.
between the two of us, I feel like we've been at every game, just not ever the same one.
You know what? I got a question for you. This is how I'm going to finish it off. I think maybe we finish it off like this every weekend, every time. What do you think is going to be the milkshake, the special milkshake this weekend for UConn?
Shit, what is Connecticut
It's the
known for?
Northeast team,
That's a great question. What's
Connecticut.
Connecticut specifically known for?
What are you thinking? What's Connecticut known for? Their food. I mean, I know there's Connecticut style pizza.
Yeah, but I was thinking that, but I don't. Isn't that just like the way they make the dough? That wouldn't really work as
Yeah.
a.
Any desserts that you can think of? Anything, man. I don't know.
I mean, the point is, it's not supposed to be a dessert, right? It's supposed to be disgusting, so it's got to
Well,
be
the
like.
cannoli. It was the
Yeah,
cannoli one.
they do the cannoli. That's true. Oh
Yeah.
man, what would it be for?
I don't know.
All right, well, let's see if we can.
Let's just guess something. Let's guess
Yeah.
something. What do you think it's gonna be?
Husky chocolate from Sweden is what
Oh God.
UCH went with. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a vanilla milkshake with pizza crust in it. Let's go with that.
Hold on. I got All right, I'm getting some late word that the Snickerdoodle was invented in Connecticut, so I'm gonna go with this. Oh, it wasn't invented. It's just popular there, apparently. Okay, just popular.
So
I'm gonna go with the Snickerdoodle milkshake. Snickerdoodle milkshake.
John Ricketts goes
Those some
for there for Huskies.
Jesus Christ.
God, trying to kill me out there.
That's terrible, dude.
That's good. That's good, man.
Man.
And
John,
then
if you're in the
have something with marshmallows.
if you're down here, link up with us this weekend.
And Sheena had Snickerdoodle from what I could make out. That was not a Jazz Santana.
I'm going with the Snickerdoodle. That was nobody else's thoughts but mine. Snickerdoodle milkshake. Let's go. I like that one. Snickerdoodle milkshake.
Apparently, they're also famous for their Connecticut lobster rolls, so they might run it back.
I was thinking about lobster roll again, but would you do it again?
I don't. And that's going to be the same thing. I'm assuming. Like, I'm not going to do any different.
Oh man, Snickerdoodle milkshake. I hope so. If they do that, oh my gosh, I'll be in heaven. I'll be in heaven.
I feel like they want to do something gross though. So.
I know, but that's got to be a staple. Well, the cannoli one wasn't that bad. It was just it was whatever. You know, it really wasn't anything. You know?
A lot of times when they do like the big thing, it's really just a vanilla shake and they stick it in there. Like it's not. If they can't really blend it together, it doesn't work as well.
Doesn't make sense. But the Snickerdoodle, you can.
Yeah, no, I mean that might just be on the menu itself already. I haven't really dug into all of the milkshakes, but
yeah, we're gonna have to check. Oh man. Anyways, all right. We're done. Thank you everybody for checking us out. We'll see you guys next Monday night again, and if not, we'll see you at the light. So come by and say hello.
Come by and say hi.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yep. See ya.